this is what I learned. 3, 2, Mark Zuckerberg's bots are turning us on. 1, and we are live. I better mute the other one right now before we get feedback. Awesome. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, whatever time you happen to re-watch this. I'm Chris Trammell. I'm the creator, developer, and head coach of the Author Launchpad, where I help authors and speakers to package, launch, and scale their expertise and their gifts and talents online. I'm also the creator of Launch Your Life's Work for those visionaries and thought leaders that have that one single message that they want to get out to the world. And it is a pleasure when I get to have other thought leaders and other experts join us, other coaches, like we're going to be meeting today with an F Rennert, who is going to be talking to us about, finding that calling, discovering the dots. I really love that one about your dots. But first and foremost, Steph, one of the things I always ask people to do is go to where we are being live streamed, which is inside of Chris Trammell Coaching. This way I make sure it is also on. Let's see, Chris Trammell Coaching right there, and is live. So I got it as live. Now what I'm going to do, and I invite you and all clients, again, if you're using StreamYard or something that could telecast, that's not telecast, but could broadcast into all your platforms, use it. But what I like to do is I'm going to copy this link, and I'm also going to go to my business page right now, and I'm going to go ahead and paste this into my business page. So wherever, Steph, your audience is at, I invite you to go ahead and put it there as well. Awesome. Yeah. And that's what's going to support you to continue to grow your brand and grow your products. Okay, great. Here we go. Cool. All right. Anything else, Steph? Let's see. What can I think of before we get going and post? Beautiful. Otter. Here's the last thing that I'm going to do for us. I'm going to honor this conversation because the last time you and I spoke, you said some really amazing, genius, I like what I do, but the way you craft it is spectacular. So I'm going to transcribe our conversation today. And again, for everybody else who's just starting their business, use the technology that's there so you can repurpose effectively the content that you put out. And that's one of the reasons why I always do a little tutorial at the beginning so that people see the opportunities. If you're going to do it as best you can. So with that being said, Steph Rennert, you ready to kick off today's live stream session?
Yes, I'm just closing the Facebook.
So you don't see yourself?
Yes, because I hear an echo. So with that being closed, if anybody writes in the comments, let me know because I don't have 2 screens set up just yet. So thanks for being here, whoever's on Facebook. Awesome.
That's perfect.
I'm ready now.
I'll watch that other screen for us as well. So that way you don't have to worry about it. My job is going to be to have you be great out in the world. And you said, last thing, I saw a message about Jordan. Do I need to look for Jordan as well? Okay.
Jordan will find it.
All right. I want to make sure that all of your people get to see you in your awesomeness. And okay, here we go. Steph Rennert, it has been a little bit since we got to do this together. I cannot thank you enough. For those of you who don't know Steph Rennert, allow me to properly introduce her. Steph has been in a one-woman show back off Broadway. She used to be an executive assistant to when she worked in her years over in New York. She's taken her years of expertise, of talent, of creativity. She did during the pandemic, I think you did a whole year straight of TikToks, right? To grow your brand.
I did 1 year of poems straight before the pandemic, and then 30 days straight of TikToks during the pandemic, to be completely accurate, but something like that, yes.
Awesome. Now, those are just some of the things that I remember, but inside of Create Your Calling, you've really done an extraordinary job of taking these pieces and parts, which I think is that, what makes us human beings most connected to one another is whose parts look like one another's parts and where do our stories fit. And now you've created Create Your Calling, your newest brand and program. So I'm going to pause right there. And I'd love for you to introduce yourself, and not like the fanboy I am of you, so people really get who you are and what you do. F Rennert, please.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate being here. I've been looking forward to this. So I am Stefanie Stef, also known as F Rennert. I love that Chris calls me that. I might adopt that, Chris. I've never seen it like that, but F Rennert, I like it. Got a good ring. People also know me as Steph with an F, not a PH when spelling it. So anybody out there ever spelling it, now you know. I am a next act reinvention coach. I help millennials and people that are creatives at heart take their dream projects off the shelf and launch them to life. And in order for them to do that, they need to have clarity. So that's what I specialize. I'm also known as a clarity coach. And this all came about because I was, as Chris mentioned, an executive assistant in New York City at some nonprofits, digital media companies. I worked in HR, and I was really just sitting at a desk feeling like singing to myself, because I'm super creative, but I was doing a lot of administrative work. I was singing to myself like Ariel and the Little Mermaid. She wants to be where the people are. She wants more, and I wanted more. And so I've been on a journey to explore and experiment and see what really felt true to me. Who am I? What do I want? And then take small steps to implement that into my life. And I always wish that I had a me in my life that would have cheered me on as I went through it, because there was so much self-doubt and what am I doing? And is this worth it? Shouldn't I just go the traditional route? But no, I didn't have that path. I know there's two roads, and I took the other one. And I think there's a lot of people out there who want to take the other one, but it takes courage and confidence and clarity to go create that. And I also like alliterations. And so there's a lot of C's for you. So what I've created with Create Your Calling coaching, my program as a coach, is really the way for people to get clarity about who they are, what they want, and then take those brave action steps to step out of their comfort zone and really, get that clarity. So I'm kind of like the C school or the preschool before you go to the business school or get your business coach like Chris, who helps you implement it and take it out to the world. You come to me when you want to, is there something that you want to create as an entrepreneur, or maybe there's just some hobbies in your life that you want to expand upon or see, and that will open up new pathways that are possible that you might not have thought of before.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching, that is how Steph rolls. She is going to bring all of her knowledge and expertise right at you, tip of the arrow, at 100 miles an hour. So you better be buckled up and ready to go. Steph, that was wonderful.
I got to get a desk chair with a seatbelt, Chris. I'm rolling around here now.
I've got a pad and paper here, so I am going to capture some of the things that you say.
Just kidding.
Because this way people get to hear. Now, you mentioned millennials.
Yes.
I am a proud Gen Xer, right?
Yeah.
Born in the 70s, developed myself in the 80s. So what is the millennial group again? And why did you choose millennials?
Yes. Well, I chose millennials because I am a millennial. To be exact, I'm an elder millennial. I'm right on the cusp. So, and I'm a pretty tech savvy millennial. So I'm proud of myself. I've always been interested in an early adopter of tools and technology, and social media. And also because a lot of the song and pop references that I allude to in my social media content are often millennial songs or throwbacks to being an 80s or a 90s kid. However, that being said, I love people, and if anybody resonates with wanting to create their calling and getting clarity, I'm open to that. Just you might have to Google or look up some of the reference that I allude to if it's important to you. If not, just roll with it, like we said. Great question.
Well, okay, I'm going to ring you back in. We hear often that find your tribe, right? Find the people that have done the journey, that are on the journey that you have done, right? We teach what we needed to learn. We teach what we needed to heal. I know that at one point in time, I don't know if it was Jung or another philosopher, they used to talk about the age of wisdom. And this is back in the days when being 40 and 50 was ancient. But that age of wisdom being 40, 50, 60, where we actually get to look back and say, this is what I've learned. This is the lesson I would like to teach. And that for me is falling into, not so much the boomers, but the Gen Xers. We're all turning into our 50s now. And the boomers are in their 80s and 90s. And we have that, what comes after the boomers, I guess that group. So that's where there's this level of knowledge and experience that is now being able to be articulated and given back to the next generation. When you describe working with millennials, what is it that they're experiencing where having a clarity coach like you makes a difference in their journey?
Yeah, thank you for pointing to that. So one thing about millennials, they have stereotypical reputation for loving avocado toast and their iced coffees and skinny jeans and side parts. However, besides from that, millennials just really grew into being often people pleasers and just doing what they were told. And also just kind of, a lot of them are struggling with that. There's an ad that I saw on YouTube that was targeted to me, where it was for BetterHelp, the therapy services. And it was for somebody, it's two roommates living in their apartment. And one roommate says to the other roommate, "What do you want?" And he goes into this whole monologue. "I just want love. I want this. I want that." And the roommate comes in and he's like, "I just meant, what do you want for dinner? Pad Thai?" And I was like, I got chills watching that, because a lot of millennials, we were just told, go get a job and that pays well and work your way up and everything will work out, But the world has shifted so much. There's social media, there are jobs that were created that we couldn't even thought of when we were in college. And unless you take some courageous action, you might be doing the same thing over and over again that doesn't actually bring you fulfillment, that doesn't actually make the impact that you are here to make in the world. And I think it's so easy to go through life on autopilot. And unless you actually carve out the space to go look and do some inner reflection work, it's challenging. And you might, years might pass by, and then you always wonder, well, what if I had tried that? What if I have done that? And for me, I have walked that path. I've always been curious. I had a number of office corporate jobs in New York City, but I also took a number of courageous action steps. Like in 2008, I resigned from my job and moved to Italy just to see if I was meant to live there. I always wanted to do a one-woman show, so I put myself out there and I sold out, a small theater in New York City off Broadway for a one-woman show just because I wanted to. These are things that are like bucket list things that I always wanted to try, and I did it. So I think that there's so many things that bring fulfillment. It doesn't have to necessarily be a new job, but it can be more things you've always wanted to do that can bring that fulfillment. And I think a lot of millennials are currently lacking that courage and somebody to cheer them on and guide them, or even know what the thing is. That's where we come back to the clarity. What is it that you want? Is it pad thai or more, like Ariel in The Little Mermaid? ... What is your more?
Wow. I got that. Thank you. And I heard
You're
something I
welcome.
hadn't heard before, which are courageous action steps.
Hmm.
Tell me a little bit about courageous action steps. We're going to talk about your program in a few minutes and all the different steps in there. Are courageous action steps something that you coach? And when does a client take a courageous action step? Because I think that's one of the concerns that most people have, is they don't know which direction to step, and they don't know, it's after the direction when to step.
Yeah.
So tell me about the courageous action steps that you coach your clients to take.
Yeah, I love that. So courageous action steps, AKA comfort zone breakthrough experiences. So that is part of the signature system of the Create Your Calling coaching program. And but first, to know what those courageous action steps are, is that we go on a journey through your past to connect the dots and find the clues from your past of things that did used to light you up, like times when you were in a state of flow, and then kind of go on a treasure hunt to connect those clues. And then that points to what courageous action step that you could possibly take. And then you work together to plan it out, go experience that, and then celebrate you that you did that. And then through doing those processes, new clarity opens up about a next action step. Just like that Martin Luther King quote, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. So oftentimes when you put yourself out there, then something new opens up that you couldn't have seen before. And that's the really exciting part, because we don't know what we don't know. And it's definitely a journey and exploration and discovery.
You're really good now. Really.
I know. Well, actually, it never ends. I mean, I did a one-woman show. I wore pink hair on the internet as part of my courageous action steps. I mean, initially I said I was an early adopter, so I wore the pink hair on Periscope, which was Twitter's live streaming app, which is now defunct. It was like Facebook Live for Twitter, but what is Twitter anymore? And but I did that, first on Twitter, because people didn't know me on there. So I had to step up into that. And other courageous action steps I took was singing karaoke. I used to be so shy and shake when I did it, and now I'm not, but it was a journey. And so that's kind of, you can think of me as the person who locks arms with you and it's like, let's go up to that karaoke microphone together. We'll do a duet. And we'll get you out of your comfort zone, and that builds your courage and confidence to then be able to share and express to the people in your life, hey, maybe I want more, it could look like this. And then you find out, are they going to be supportive, or do you need to bring new people into your circle, or to supplement the existing people that you love to cheer you on as you go for what you want and start speaking up and voicing your truth and going for it.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna take another bite of something you said. It was really great. You talked about going back and looking at what used to light you up. So for me, if I hear you correctly, and I want to hear how you do this, I loved working with animals. I knew how to say the word veterinarian well before I knew how to spell the word veterinarian. So the arc of my journey has had times when I was an animal trainer and I worked with exotics. I did wildlife education. I taught at the Los Angeles Zoo for about 15 years. And then I left that space. But I find inside of my leadership training and organizational development work that I'm now missing that. And I've started reaching back out to zoos and aquariums so I can get that part that lights me up. Why does that matter in your process, Steph, that people are re-engaged with what lights them up?
Great question. Because it gives you an extra oomph, it gives you a push. It reminds you why things are important in life. Like for you to get back in touch with the zoos and to be around animals again will give you the boost to, go for and own what you're creating as a business and author coach, in the world. And same for me. Like I went to go see a Broadway show, and as soon as I left, I was so lit up and just like, I'm ready to go back in and go take the action steps on what I'm doing to build my coaching business. Because when I sit in a Broadway show and there's the final curtain call and everybody's clapping and giving a standing ovation, it just pulses through my body of just, that's so amazing. Those people were so self-expressed and they're being and giving everything they want to give. So it's like a natural juice that just pushes you to go for what you want.
Let me add that. I'm adding that in our comments.
Okay.
So people, I'm putting it in the chat. One of the things one of my mentors, Marianne Williamson, at one time was quoting some of the work of Carl Jung, and he talks about where inside of the archetypes go back to the children's stories of your youth. And there's something in there that resonates with you still. There is something inside of your archetype. Like for me, I've come to learn, and maybe this goes into your signature program, that I really love the Rocky archetype. I loved King Arthur archetype, but if you really look at them, there was a lot of underdog and struggle in those two stories. And I had to kind of do, as you said it really beautifully, the inner reflection, carve out time to do that inner reflection. And when I did that inner reflection, I had to really be rigorous with myself and say, why do I have that underdog archetype in me? As you work with your clients, what are some of the mindset or the archetype sets that you see you're having to pull people out of so they give themselves permission to do this process with you?
Can you clarify a little bit more, like archetype sets,
So,
like an example, just to make sure I understand your question?
Absolutely. So when you do kind of the brand archetypes, one of the brand archetypes is the hero archetype. There's the creator archetype. There's the magician archetype. The explorer, which is like Eddie Bauer, right? That is the explorer, or REI. That is the explorer archetype. Each archetype is how we see the world. The underdog is a little bit of rebel, but it's a very powerful story, because when you look at like the Rocky series and why it was so successful is because many people have that experience of struggle to get there, right? Because we're often told growing up, money doesn't grow on trees, things don't come easy, you can't just have what you want. So we're kind of, as a society, pounded in with this idea that we got to struggle to get what we want, or you can't have it until you put in so much work and you've killed yourself to prove yourself that then you could have it, right? So those are some of the unconscious archetypes I am pulling my clients out of, or I'm allowing them to teach back what they've learned on how to untangle themselves from them. So as you see the mindsets inside of Create Your Calling, what are some of the things you get to untangle your clients from? What are some of the, like, people come to me, how?
Yeah. And thanks for those examples. I think definitely I relate to the underdog concept, and then also the rebel is the one that's there. And I think a lot of my clients want to be rebels, but have always been like the good person, the goody two shoes, maybe the teacher's pet, maybe super like empathic, shy, sensitive, creative, gravitated to the art table in school, but was never like the lead in the school play,
Yeah.
So what I love doing is, you can call me like, I coax people out of hiding and help you, again, with the karaoke reference, let's lock arms and get you out there and say that thing that you've been too afraid to say, and then have that experience and get a little taste of it and be like, oh, maybe I want some more of that. And where else can I go implement that and bring that to my life? So I would say, like, it's kind of like one of my potential names for something in my life I always thought was good girl gone true, being a good girl, but then also like rebelling in your own creative way. Like I love that idea.
Wow. I love that. Good girl gone true.
Like, what is your truth? Well, who are you authentically? Because I was always super shy, sensitive, quiet, listening and then speaking only at the very end if I had to or somebody called on me. And that's also part of what I do. It's kind of creativity and self-expression, coaching, kind of hidden within the clarity, because it's like, okay, once you get the clarity, you got to tell someone or else it's like nothing's going to happen, So yeah, it's kind of building that courage and confidence and clarity, but also like come out of your little shell. And I'm a Cancer crab. I'm born in July, astrologically speaking. So I love my shell. So it took a lot. I mean, it took a number of years for me to go on that journey and to come out of it and peek my head out. And now I show up consistently as a coach, but that's what I love to do. I love to help people that are shy, sensitive, maybe quiet, people pleasing, to just be like, no. And I even have a parody song about that where I just shout no. So we do a lot of creative self-expression, and that could be one of the comfort zone breakthrough experiences in the program, where people write their own parody song, they write their own poem, and then they perform it in an open mic, safe environment container where they can be cheered on, and they don't necessarily have to post it on the internet for all to see, but they can invite their friends and family or the other people in the coaching program to, cheer them on.
That's awesome. Wow.
I wish I had that when I was growing up.
Well, it's true, but you get to create it now as a coach. And I really love the statement.
That's part.
I weave in coaching inside of the clarity process. And I think that's what people want, as we really look at what coaches do, is we push people to the edge of their comfort zone. Not only do we coax them through it, but we coach them through it. And the coaching part is to have them find their inner strength, right? Find their inner power. And as you said, find that truth. I'm cautious with the word truth. Being a former science teacher, it is a very slippery slope for me. But I think people's experiences are more valid than I would say truth. It's rare you won't find me with my hand over my heart looking for my truth, but you will find me deep inside the exploration of exactly as what you said. What is that light that is in you that we get to bring forward and have shine out into the world? So
yeah. And one thing, the light within me, I love to have my clients give themselves a new nickname. Like I have many nicknames for myself, but one of my most recent one is certain stuff. Like I'm certain this is my path. I'm a clarity coach. I help people create their calling and find what lights them up and then go take those actions to do it. So, and one other thing that makes me different, I think, is that I try to bring fun, and I bring fun and play and creativity in a way that, can only be done by me because I'm me, and other coaches are themselves. And I think that's a missing in the world, because a lot of times, like a lot of the cookie cutter self-development, personal development programs can be kind of boring, bland, and confronting. And I try to make that, see my clarity. I make that process, more fun and playful and enjoyable, so that you can go and look at the murky stuff. And if you need extra support, I can refer you to other people that can support if you're getting triggered by something. But, what difference does it make if you can actually enjoy the journey, and it doesn't have to take as long as it would if you're trying to figure it out on your own?
Fantastic, Steph. Thank you for who you are, for those clients that get to do that journey with you and don't have to do it on their own. Let's dive into the steps to your signature system. For myself, inside of the Author Launchpad, I have learned that essentially what I need to do is help individuals go from book to business, right? Like extract that business that is already inside of their book and then structure it, and then help them take it to its beta. And then from beta, we turn into the coaching program. And then from there goes on to online courses or talks, right? So I say there's package, launch, and then scale. Those are my three phases. Let's talk about yours. Your first step inside of Create Your Calling is get to know self.
Can I start off with my three things though? Because I don't think I shared them with you.
Sorry.
So
Sure.
say your three again.
Package, scale, and package, launch, and scale.
So this is specifically for people creating courses and experts in their field that are writing books. So mine is see, shift, and share.
Oh, C, shift, and share. I'm gonna
See?
put that in the chat.
Shift, share. In a chair. No.
All right, let's talk
Sometimes
about,
rhyme if there's time.
let's go with C. C what?
So see the past with like the letter C. It's a play on spelling. See the past is the first step. I'm gonna clump another C word them together just so it makes sense. So first you see the past. So that's part of seeing, right? And then while we're looking at the past, we go on kind of like a treasure hunt to collect the clues and connect the dots and see like what are those disempowering things that you're saying to yourself. And then we kind of go so that we can, next step is shift your mindset from where you're stopping yourself and talking yourself out of things so that you can actually have more empowering language and then go take action on what you want so that more clarity can emerge. So that's C is see the past, connect the clues, and connect the dots. Then in the process of shifting your mindset, we're going to go to, these are all C words there's in the system. Collaging, like doing a vision board, right? And that can take many different forms, and then co-creating with the universe, kind of putting some visioning statements together so that we can like focus on it every day as part of your new morning routine. And then capture the details and make a plan where we kind of unfold, reverse engineer, what are you going to work on? What are your priorities that you want to work on? Kind of create like a mini bucket list and then prioritize what you want to do now, next, later, and maybe. So that's in the shifting. And then in the share, that's when you're going to create. You're going to co-create with the universe. You're going to create conversations with people in your life, like maybe putting up some boundaries of people you need to say no to and more people you want to bring into your circle of support. And then you're going to take that comfort zone breakthrough experience, go share yourself with the world, do something that helps you step out of your comfort zone and celebrate as the finale in the open mic night on Zoom or, you know, in any way that you want to create it, so that you're celebrating that you're shared yourself with the world. So see, shift, and share.
See, shift, and share.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. See, shift, and share. That's brilliant. How did you come up with those? Like, why did you choose those as your core 3 phases?
Because first, you can't make any changes or shifts if you don't see what you're working with, the good, the bad, the ugly. So, and also you want to celebrate. It's not all about this is wrong, you did this wrong, this isn't working. You want to see and celebrate also, you know, the successes and things you have accomplished that you might have forgotten about. So I think that's an important place to start with the seeing. And then shifting, I mean, that's what coaching and life is all about. What do you want to shift into? What do you want to create next? And then sharing, it's like if like our life is, you know, who we have in our life, who are our relationships. So if you're not sharing yourself, you know, you're probably not going to be super fulfilled and you're probably frustrated and kind of sad about it. So you got to share yourself. And then when you share, you can light up other people and they can be inspired by you and go take actions like a domino effect, you know, around the world. And basically your calling will create more callings created around the world. That's the vision. See, shift, share with Steph with an F.
See, shift, share with Stef Rennert.
Yeah, it's my new nickname, Stef Rennert.
All right. Okay. Let me pull us into, because I know you have a Create Your Calling or Clues to Your Calling workshop coming up. I'm going to be bold really quick here and see if I could pull this off. Let's see, here we go. Would you please tell us about what looks like an awesome workshop that we have coming up, the Clues to Your Calling workshop? Tell us about it so that whoever is like, yeah, I could use some of that. How can they go ahead and register for this? And what's it about?
Yeah, thank you. So you can register for it at createyourcalling.com. Just type that into the URL field. And this workshop is called, can you scroll to the top, Chris? It's called the Clues to Your Calling workshop. Dun, dun, dun. I love the magnifying glass concept. That's my archetype, the explorer. And basically, the workshop is 3 keys to igniting your courage, confidence, and creativity. And what we do is go through, some common myths about why, things might not be working and why you're lacking clarity, and then kind of elaborate more on what are 3 keys that you might be missing that you haven't thought of that can help you step into that clarity, and then more details about my signature system and how, if it resonates with you, you can schedule a complimentary call to chat with me to see if it might make a difference to work together to create some comfort zone breakthrough experience for you in your life, and get more clarity about where you're missing your clarity.
And
So
this is happening Wednesday,
August 16th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 8 p.m. Eastern. And I run these about once a month. So would love to see some new faces on August 16th. And if you're watching this down the line, just go to createyourcalling.com to find out more when the next one is.
I'm going to copy that and put it into our chat. Anywhere else on this page you'd like for me to visit to make sure that people get to, you have a beautiful page, Steph. I know you've been working on it. There it is, the Clues to Your Calling workshop. Really just a fantastic job. This workshop designed to help you get unstuck and tap into your unique genius so you can get re-inspired to find your true path. Steph.
Yes.
Are you on your true path?
I can finally say yes. It has been a journey, and now, oh, the irony, the clarity that my clarity is supporting other people to see, shift, and share their stories and get their clarity. I love it. Who would have known? It's one of those emoji mind blown moments, but there's nothing I'd rather do more, than help people connect the dots and creatively see things differently in their lives and create those new possible pathways and build their courage and confidence so that they can be clear and go for what they want, whether it's new hobbies or new relationships they want to bring into their life, or creating their own career. And then, I pass them off to someone like you who can help them with their book and their business, so they come to me to get the clarity and to play around in that creative sandbox. And then, I love referring people on to wherever their next steps may take them.
Really an extraordinary, generous service you've created, because I think one of the things that happens is people go into the silos of thinking, I should know this already. I should know how to do this. And they don't give themselves permission to tie a rope to someone like you and dive into their past, dive into some of the muck so that they can come out and say, Steph, I found it. Thank you. You lifelined me and I found this is what I want to take to the world. And then with you, you're like, okay, well, it sounds like you need this type of coach, or you need this type of coach, or you need to go down this path. Really, like one of the most important stages is that first step stage, and you've created it into a really brilliant business. I really want to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. It's I think something that's necessary, and people don't know that they can get support on that. I like to say that it's kind of like the Rapunzel syndrome, where you're just stuck in your tower trying to figure it out alone. And one of my favorite, kind of hitting your head against the wall. And one of my favorite quotes is from Marie Forleo, who says, clarity comes through engagement, not through thought. And I was thoughting my life away. Like, what could it look like? I don't know, until I went out and explored and experimented myself, doing open mic nights, writing poems, and realizing that I'm a creative human. And I was just like doing admin work, and I didn't have any balance, and I was not fulfilled. So, you've got to engage. And that's what my program, Create Your Calling, creates the opportunity to engage, explore, experiment, and then get you to the point of clarity so you can go out and create and be fulfilled and make a difference.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Just that,
You heard it here first. That was awesome. Steph Rennert, I really want to thank you. For those of you watching, Steph and I were a team who we were responsible for about 70 individuals bringing their projects, bringing their what we call games, their dreams, their desires to life inside of a management leadership program that we're both like second year and first year. So we have a lot of experience inside of the unfolding and the discovery and helping you structure it out. But the genius is like Steph has done, to take the ahas of your past and then turn them into a product or a monetizable action. And Steph, you've done it beautifully. And I knew you were the perfect assistant coach when I was your head coach for it. And now look at you. It's when they say the pupil surpasses the teacher, you have found your wings. And I'm just honored to have you here today.
That's a pom-pom moment. Yeah, thank you for cheering me on, Chris. It's been so great getting to work with you, getting to know you, and this conversation was a long time coming. So go us, and go all the people that go for their dreams. I believe in you. You can do it. And these pom-poms are only $1 at the dollar store, and they're very accessible. So drop the pom-pom up.
Great job, Steph. So for everybody listening here today, I'm Chris Trammell. I'm the creator, developer, and head coach of the Author Launchpad, where I help authors and speakers package, launch, and scale their expertise online and offline. And you had Stefanie Rennert today. Find your calling. Create your calling. Uh-oh.
Calling, and you froze.
I froze.
Yes. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Oh, okay. We're back. We're creating in the moment. Yes.
Create your
calling.
calling. Very good.
Yes.
Thank you. And see, shift, share.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
You got it. And
right.
Stefanie is with an F. That's what. So just think your spelling. And I'm at Stefanie Rennert on all social media. Just make sure you have the F.
Yeah, perfect.
STEFANIERENNERT.
Instagram, can they find you there?
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the places. I'm just
awesome.
Me. I'm owning it, And Chris, the checklist.
Oh, very good. Yes. For those of you, I'm sorry, someone is being unkind with their horn. I hope you guys didn't hear that.
That's okay. They just want the checklist. They're honk for the checklist. I'll put that in my next post. Honk if you want the checklist.
So Steph has a free checklist. If you've watched this and you really want to do that discovery process, we're going to put a link below, and we're also going to put a link in that we share. And tell our audience and those who receive it, what is the checklist? What does it help people do?
Yeah, so the checklist, or currently it's called the 5-minute bucket list generator. And I love it because it's a really great way to dump all of your ideas out of those things you've always wanted to do but haven't followed through with yet, kind of like a dream list, to capture them. And basically in the first section, you're going to dump them all down and pull them out of your brain, do a little journaling, brainstorming, and then it gives you the spaces to kind of sort them out and prioritize them into now, next, later, and maybe. And so there it is, the 5-minute bucket list generator. So if you go to createyourcalling.com/checklist, that's what you're going to find there. And this is a gift that I for all of you, and I use this with my clients to kind of get the clarity of what are their priorities and how we can work that into the coaching program when we work together. So enjoy. Createyourcalling.com/checklist. Yes.
Createyourcalling.com/checklist to get started on what that calling is and what that passion is, and bring it to Steph Rennert. It has been a pleasure to have you today, Steph. And if there's anything else that I could do to support you on your journey, please reach out and let me know.
Okay. Oh, also at that link, I think there's also a link to a 15-minute discovery call with me too. If you'd like to explore, just have a conversation, and you've been listening today, would love to chat and connect as well. So there's a link to schedule that there as well.
You want to take advantage of that invitation, ladies and gentlemen. Hop on a call with her. Don't be afraid. Don't just pick it up and say, this is what I've been thinking about. This is what I've been kicking around. And Steph is the person that's going to help to develop the clarity with you on what's next.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Chris.
You're
really
welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. That is it for another Thursday edition of the Author Launchpad series. I'm so grateful to have the guests that I have come on. And until Steph or myself get to see you again soon, be great out in the world, and we'll talk to you shortly. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right. We'll stop the stream. Bye, all.